for Creme.
I love it because there's like this little mini meta of like slight hovers from guys, at least so far, that like we saw the Nefiri hovered a few times, then finally locked in. I'm starting to see the Neela get hovered from multiple people across the table. Maybe there's going to be one day where Neela comes back out, but it is the first pick by a tried and true win condition for Kanavi. This guy is a menace on this pick.
One of his most important champions that we got to see very early on in the year, his most played so far here in 2025, so not surprised to see that. Wonder if FPX are going to be going and looking for that Sejuani Yone counter. It has been something that's been very popular, and especially for opening up the playbook. Although Yone is a champion that has been missing here for FPX, so not surprised to see Mbessa, actually the first time we get to see from this team coming out into 2025.
I like that they're giving Mbessa this year, though. We were asking if they were going to be able to step this up. I know it can be flexible at least, but I still think giving Shearer the onus on an Mbessa and having some play between, like with the Sejuani, just trying to enable this guy. This guy carried games on JDG of all teams, and now playing towards enabling him a little bit.
Sejuani is very interesting. I wonder what other melees we're going to be getting from FPX if it's only going to be the Mbessa. Yeah, no Renekton ban does mean that you're going to have to probably just deal with this. Gwen has been the most popular AP variant in terms of answers, so not surprised to see this. I wonder for Creme what kind of mid lane we're going to be getting. He has been starting to branch out into some more of his mages. His Jwei has been particularly very strong recently, and he's been really trying to dabble more into some of the newer champions like we've been noticing with the Aurora.
In an alternate universe where TES aren't taking this game seriously, I wish that Chris would lock in Thresh and pick out the FPX skin. I think it'd be hilarious. But I know that's not going to happen. As we have, he earned that skin for them, okay?
Yeah.
The Aurora is locked in for top esports, though, and we also get the Sylas locked in there as well for FPX. So the mid lane matchup is set. And we have the melee combos from FPX.
Wow, okay. So some good burst damage coming in, but with the Sylas, a lot of ultimates going to kind of take away potentially an Alistar punt, even a Leona, kind of getting rid of some of those engaged champions. 80 carry focus here in the second half. Kai'Sa and Ezreal already gone. I think potentially even getting rid of a Misfortune is something that is on the cards for both of these teams. But TES have a very robust front line. It's a bit short-ranged, in my opinion, when we look at the three champions that they have chosen. So maybe a little bit more range is something that FPX are looking to target.
I think that could be a good call, just to kind of even that up. The Ziggs also there to at least work a little bit of that AP setup up away from them. Kalista is going to be the ban, though, against Awesome, and try to get a little bit of that potential 2v2 setup here. But I love that top esports are saving the best for last with JackeyLove and Chris.
What are the options? You know that JackeyLove and Chris are, for the most part, going to be playing a pretty decent lane phase between the two of them, and honestly, Braum just immediately stands out to me. Braum versus a Sylas versus this Misfortune is going to offer so much value. So how many Braum lanes are they going to really be prepared for? Again, you're kind of looking, you can go for the Ashe Braum if you really want to. I think it's perfectly fine. You still give over pretty strong ultimate to Sylas, but I don't think you're really caring when you look at the short rangeness of the top side of FPX's map.
I wouldn't mind this either, just giving a little bit of utility over to JackeyLove and trying to give him some engage potential. Because if you think about it now, like, you have so many points of entrance for top esports' comp with the Braum. You have the cease and desist, Enchanted Crystal, you have backline access there as well with the Renekton. It looks really good put together.
What is that fan sign? Why is it so beautiful?
So
not
sparkly.
just Crisp on that's not just Crisp.
I was gonna say he's looking real good in that picture. I like it.
He's always been that way, so glad to see. FPX final pick here. I really think it needs to be some kind of melee support. It's gonna suck in the lane, but like, you're just gonna have to bite the bullet. So Alistar is gonna be the choice here. FPX, they lose. They have a losing matchup in top side. They have a losing matchup in mid. Sylas has to trade his HP to try to deal with Aurora. I think it's a really tough composition for FPX to kind of go around. They're very strong on 1 and 2 items, but TES has so much utility to be able to deal with this. They have the kind of option to start fights or stop any kind of engage from FPX with this Braum. I just think it is kind of a compositional difference from FPX or from TES, and
Yeah.
I feel like every stage of the game, it is so difficult to play the game.
I'm very much looking at the solo lanes and how these junglers bounce between in this one for sure. I think bot lane will be interesting at some point. We'll have some impact, but it for me is specifically looking at Kanavi versus Shadow. I really want to see what these two kind of facilitation junglers on the Vi and the Sejuani can bring to their team. But proactivity is needed, right? Like, you can be aggressive on the Vi. You can be aggressive on the Sejuani and try to find those invades coming early.
That's what I want to see from TES is, can they move into the enemy jungle, stop this Sejuani, and try to get rid of some of the play points here for FPX. As important game, obviously, we got a little bit of a sneak peek at what the Twitch polls were looking like. Very, very top esports favorite, and rightfully so. Our first seed coming out of Split 1, obviously our LPL international representatives at first stand, and against an FPX that, even with some younger talent, even with some fresher faces, haven't quite found their footing here yet in 2025.
It even got more one-sided between the time we got the screenshot and now. My goodness, everybody's out there for top esports, and I'm out here ready to get this game underway. Game number 2 of the day. Top esports versus FPX. Jayo's ringing loud, and Sujol and TES going for a little bit of level 1.
Yeah, you've got Braum and Ash just walk up. The slows are going to be so detrimental to play for. Wonder what options Kanavi is going to be looking at, as you can try to play a split map, open up, and try to potentially go for a level 4, level 3 dive on this Ambessa. Big power spike coming in for Sheer once he hits his first item. Seems like they want to even try to cut Awesome away from this lane. Now he's going to walk up. There's the slow.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Trying to be
There's
annoying
2.
early.
There's 3.
Oh goodness. Lane is not going to be fun early on. He's going to go ahead and back that one up. We'll be a little bit late to the combination of the minions. Oh, yeah. Okay, they get it.
Yeah.
I was like, how long is it going to take?
You know, usually this would be fine because Misfortune is a champion that has way too much movement speed in her kit thanks to the strut, but you are level 1, so don't think he's going to be too late. I actually kind of want to see, with minions crashing, depending on how TES play this, they can try to deny at least 1 or 2 minions here for Awesome.
Why does that Ambessa skin look like a Dark Souls character or something? Oh my god.
Because it is the wolf.
But it's like the red
fighter,
chroma one, where it's
Chosen
like
of the
it
wolf.
lands like the fire hair. Anyways, we do see that level 1 peeking out for top esports over here. Jwei just gonna headbutt Crisp away. They did end up getting a ward. Top esports got massive ward coverage, and now that big Winter's Bite into the concussive blows combo gets Jwei down very low. They do have advantage in the 2v2 now in bot.
That does mean that they'll hit level 2 as well first, so they have immediate priority. It is Alistar level 1. We keep talking about this, but this champion is insanely useless without very many spells, unless you're going to be getting into melee range. Concussive blows also dealing a lot, so we'll see what Kanavi's able to do. He is on this side of the map, but is pathing towards the top side. It seems like both of our junglers are going to be making a visit here. Not a lot of early vision, and Kanavi instead opting for that vertical jungle, so will be spotted on this board from FPX.
Creme might have to burn his flash. Going to try to roam over to the rest of the team. Does burn his flash there, so that'll be revisited too. And Shadow will be pretty happy with his early impact there. Meanwhile, blue buff being taken away by Kanavi in that reprieve.
Okay. So we'll get this buff now. The bottom lane of FPX recognizing that they do have to make the minion wave, and I think for 369 he has to be very careful here, because not only is Crisp going straight back to the bottom lane, this wave is starting to push away from him. He's going really hard on these trades versus Sheer, so has to be expecting that within the next 45 seconds there may be a Sejuani coming up to visit.
Might be a little bit of something coming his way. At least thinking of it to that extent. But
there are
actually in the 1v1, Sheer getting real low.
Thank you. Thank you, observers.
Cannon.
Flame them, no cannon, -1.
Hey, he went for the aggressive play instead. I'll take that one for sure. Maybe the goal, maybe not as much. It is going to be that kind of full clear side from Shadow over Kanavi's jungle, traded from the other side by Kanavi, and we're going to revisit mid lane just in case.
He's just going to make sure that his mid laner doesn't get ganked. Know that he doesn't have flash for this Aurora. He keeps canceling it because he doesn't know where Sejuani is. Will only get spotted now.
They know now.
Oh,
really good sidestep there. They don't get care. And now Shadow has made contact with Creme, and he is lactose, not intolerant. Intolerance. As now Kanavi actually can't really do anything off that. And hey, we wanted to see what can happen for FPX. They got first blood now.
Great job. Care, even though he doesn't land the Abscond Abduct, still is able to grab that trade. It's a small win for FPX, only a single kill, and obviously going over to Shadow, not exactly what FPX would have wanted. You get to see what exactly happened here. This is a great flash from Care. That Q not landing is the difference maker between Care living and him going down. And again, Creme's someone who has come under a lot of flack recently, not only for what we saw from TES internationally this year, but I think this is a player who this year really needs to make a massive leap in his progress, because last year it was, hey, he's a bit of a newer player, he hasn't ever been to internationals, but now you have that experience, you need to be able to hone that and eventually level up your own play.
Yeah, trying to break the mold here that's been established from him over these years, but a true developmental piece for FPX that we'd love to see at least having some early moves against top esports, where I think expectations are definitely in a little bit of a one-sided contest. And here we go again. Shadow just really likes Creme. Kanavi is here. Going to back them off just a little bit because of that angle. It is going to be the dragon setup right now for Kanavi. He's going to start that one up now, preemptively before the grub spawn.
Yeah, and look at where Shadow is. He knows that he has no, like, he could revisit the topside camps. He does have the respawn timer of all of Kanavi's camps. I'm surprised to see that FPX didn't already move. I really want to compliment TES's bottom lane for what they've been able to do of trapping Awesome and Jwei under this bottom lane turret, making it very difficult for them to move around the map. We're kind of seeing some pings coming out here. Kanavi's very healthy. I think there's a possibility they have push in mid. They know Kara has very little HP. Maybe they actually just move over and contest this objective after this push coming out from JackeyLove in the bottom lane.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to get the reset now. He also will not have ECA, so a little bit of ulti diff potentially coming through. But they're going to start this one up because they have 369 up here with the dominance. They've already moved early. The first grub should just go down here. Shadow going to try to clear out the warding. Can't end up getting it. Gets the final auto attack on it. Now moving over to the grub pit. Second one should go down to Kanavi. Now he's going to start up the third. FPX just say it is forfeit and will give up full early game objective control.
It's a tough look, but FPX maybe recognizing that JackeyLove off the map, if he walks into that fight and they've already started it, unless they've just straight up won the fight, are already looking down another loss. And it's going to go from bad to worse for this early game. So FPX, despite having the first kill, still down about 500, almost 1,000 gold at this point. And despite a lot of the attention coming out from Creme, it is because of the fact that this mid lane matchup is so miserable. I feel bad that a lot of players are picking Sylas right now. You just have to trade so much of your HP bar in this current meta, especially with a lot of the mages and the fact that Electrocute is so popular. So I think we're starting to feel some of the ramifications.
369, equal trade on the sheer. Shadow's hovering, waiting to see if 369 goes a little bit too ham. 369, a reserve player, is stalwart one, and not going to be fooled that time around. So resets coming out from FPX, and how do they get active? How do they find promise here, and how do they get, honestly, awesome setup with these bullet time combo?
It's going to have to be some really good ultimates. I mean, Care does have the ability to steal with the hijack. I think with Sejuani ult, you just set up for such a perfect ultimate from Awesome. But even if he does do that, right? Like, let's say they find a pick, they get some damage down. You have so many ways of stopping it with either the Unbreakable from Crisp or Kanavi flying in from the wings. We're going to have to see if FPX's solo lanes are going to be able to get enough work done here. And you look at the map right now, there are slight lane advantages from TES, but they were also able to grab the first 3 grubs, the first dragon. We said this was going to be a tough early game for FPX, and it has been almost that perfectly to a T.
It really has been. Blue buff goes the way of Shadow, though. We'll finally get his side of the blue buff jungle here. Level 6 is available for Kanavi to try to find that cease and assist engage, but looks like things are going to be a little bit quiet now on the Rift for the moment, but things are going to ramp up in just under 2 minutes when the next spawn of grubs is there. I do not think you want to give 6 grubs over to Top Esports' comp. I think the siege would be very difficult to deal with.
Yeah. They're already, as you were saying, kind of starting to take those resets. TS setting their bottom lane to top, looking to try to
they just kill Sheer here.
369's teleport. Maybe. I think it's a little tough until, thank you to our
Oh my
making
god.
sure 369
Somebody's
is
a
grabbing
369 fan, you know?
Oh,
they flash
ECA.
I knew it! I knew it was coming! I saw it ahead of time, and they just punished Sheer, who had no respect on what could be happening going on.
Oh my god, and they get the demolish proc, so they're gonna get at least 2 plates. 369 can teleport, so as soon as Awesome pushes this wave in, FPX have to know there has to be a dive that happens. Shadow's recalling. I mean, Carry's gonna TP back mid. I think this is such a botched early game. Even getting the first turret at 10 minutes? Wow,
Yeah,
that is a massive amount of gold here for top.
And looking at Sheer's cam, he definitely feels the burden of what just happened. I think it's just tough when the biggest counter to Ambessa is literally CC chaining. And you can do so well set up. I love that preemptive flash from 369 to get that CC chain started. Now we're getting the first items. It's a Blade of the Rune King for 369 to start us off. And Dragon coming up. Grubs coming up. It's feeling all TES early.
Okay. Coming into this next fight, there will be no flash for this Renekton, nor for Crisp. They will have the Enchanted Crystal era, as we were noting, so FPX will have a small window in which they will be able to actually apply pressure to some of TES's back line. But you already see this. TES, they clear out the mid-wave, they move right into Fog of War, they allow for JackeyLove, who still has both of his summoner spells, and now Shadow just gets completely bodyguarded out of the river. So very tough here for FPX to actually contest for this objective. Maybe Sheer can find a flank with this public execution, but I think we're asking a lot of really tough questions here for FPX, and I just don't know if quite they have the answers, at least not here right now.
Yeah, I think this kind of setup, if Top Esports are going to handily win this one, I think just shows that separation between first and second and that third place here that FPX was vying for. They engaged by Jwei, as now Shadow also has used the Glacial Prison, but now they're fully stuck. Cease and Desist has found the backline. That's a double wombo combo there, and he's already down. They're about to find more on the backline too. Oh god, Top Esports, they're getting cooked a little bit here as Care is wheeling and dealing, but JackeyLove's been untouched. He's going to flash away. He's going to kill Sheer. JackeyLove trying to kite away from Care. He's going to slow him down, and JackeyLove with the combo. Creme come up clutch for Top Esports. The genius is back, baby.
The full-on ace here from TES showed it to us observers. Thank you. That's another one here for 369. Huge play here coming in. They'll grab another turret at 12.5 minutes. They'll grab all of these grubs if they so choose. And what an explosive early game here. We said that the draft had already favored them here in this game, and we get to just see how damn OP this is. Going into this replay, what are we going to say?
It's just a wonder to get to watch this man do what he does.
Yeah, I just got to say, Crisp, Hami really cooked with this draft, bro. He just gave them every single just desserts. The fact that Kanavi lives through this, 100 HP, Triumph Heal. Gets another kill, Triumph Heal. And that was, honestly, I was kind of ready to see maybe another jungler penta coming on through, but all of TES finally get to outplay. I mean, the Ashe versus all of these melee champions. Creme with the slows. Crisp again with this Braum. I feel like there are so many outs for this team in this draft, and 6,000 gold now here, set at 13.5 minutes. They even left the grub for FPX. I think that this game is so tough to be able to play out from this situation.
Oh my god, like the little hop into the abduct there to block it. Oh my god, this is the, like, I get so frustrated when I think about Top Esports International because these are the combos between Creme and JackeyLove that we've fallen in love with this team. And they're playing so in sync, and yes, it's just best of ones. It's just the start of this second split, but it makes magic on the Rift, and unfortunately their magic was out of sorts, and now it seems out of sorts for 369, who's going to pop the Dominus in a 1v3. TP coming in, he dies. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow did ring across on a Shadow. TP now has been completed by Creme. Creme. JackeyLove gonna get engaged on now by Jwei. Big engage as well from FPX, and they might have just cooked with this one. They were in the fire, but now they've turned that fire into heat to top Esports. Creme, the only one left, gets hit by the flail. The headbutt polarized from FPX, and they just cleaned a full ace on the top Esports.
Lennon, get mad again. You were just mad about TES not showing up. Well, guess what? They just immediately
to 0.
They got aced instantly afterwards. There we go. That's a TES that we know and sometimes love.
Oh my God, Pastor Curse from hell there. It is insane that they just lost a fight that far ahead, but 369 just disrespecting FPX here.
He has the Blade of the Ruin King, and that's great for the 1v1, but after this play, I feel like they should just let Creme get out of this. Creme has Flash, you have so much mobility from the Aurora, maybe feeling a little bit pressured. It's great that Crisp is stopping all of this misfortune ult, but kind of feels like a catch-22. You're not going to be able to stop every bit of damage here, at least not in this fight. And TES, I think, playing just a little too fast here, end up losing the fight. They're going to also lose a bunch of summoners as well as this dragon. So as much as we're praising this team, I think definitely feeling a little overeager and trying to smash the opponents when you can just take one step back, reel it back in, and still find a very dominant win. There's still 4,000 gold, to be fair.
They'll take the final grub there.
Nice.
They left it for FPX, and they decided they're going to go back and get it after that last fight. But, dude, I got to give shout-outs to Care. The idea of taking the cease and desist and just having that full lockdown with this combo is actually very powerful. But now we're seeing the readaptation of Force up towards top side by top Esports to get ready for this Rift Herald, potentially.
You already see that 369, he is applying so much pressure, has an in full level lead despite what just happened on our screens around this lane. And he will be able to teleport for this play and apply pressure to Sheer. Just trying to eke out just a small experience from this wave. Oh, okay, we're not contesting Herald anymore, guys. This is quite illegal. We can already see TES moving on towards this objective. Why does 369 have 40 CS over Sheer? Damn,
it's actually kind of nuts. I mean, hey, it's been a little bit of a top diffy here. Sheer, maybe trying to make a play.
Oh, they're making a chase.
Okay, there's the Flash. Well, ulti for Flash, you'll take that. 369 can now be punished in the side lane, but you were giving up Rift Herald to top Esports that entire time.
And they needed to reinforce mid. I mean, Jwei is actually taking a full recall. You know that Shadow is at least near the bottom side. This is going to be mid-tier 1 very freely going over to TES. Can Creme and Care find this 1v1?
A 1v1 between the mid laners. See if Creme can get out of that one with the Between Worlds. Even takes the roses on the back of it as well. So it will just be ulti for ulti.
Wow. Not much actually gained off of that. There's already turret plates gone. So TES just summoned the Rift Herald. Weren't able to reinforce it. So didn't get the full turret, but hey, we got another 2 minutes before the next dragon spawns, even with Voracious Atacon actually spawning, so there's still some room to play for that mid-tier 1. Not obviously all that important when we look at, I mean, the fact that both of the tier 1s on the outer lanes are already gone. Mid-tier 1 is, if you stand under this and we just decide to flank around this turret, someone's probably going down or losing a summoner spell.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you throw things at the wall, they might just stick. Unfortunately, things aren't sticking as well for FPX right now. Still about another minute 45 for that next dragon. Luckily, like in the last game, we tied up 1-1, so it makes those a little bit less of a big priority. But I will say this next play on trying to figure out where top Esports want to push their pressure here with the lead that they have, with the almost 2 item spikes across the board, but primarily for Kanavi and 369. It seems like it's top lane potentially.
Yep, just play around the fact that your Renekton is very dangerous this game. Going for a bit of a different build. Usually we've been seeing a lot of like the Eclipse and Sterix Gauge plus Black Cleaver, maybe a little bit of Shojin action. TES are trying to make a play around the mid lane.
Oh, TP coming back from FPX. That was a drift from Shadow onto JackeyLove, but the bullet time not going to do much. Care finding the Glacial Prison onto 3 people. Sheer is late to the fight, but he's already lost Care. Sheer was just too late. Jwei going in. Public execution onto Kanavi. Kanavi's not going down. Concussive blows coming up clutch for Crisp against his old organization. And it is top Esports taking yet another fight.
Oh man, just not waiting. I mean, FPX, we saw that Care win for that TP, but at least wait for Sheer to get to the play. Pulling the trigger just too soon there, and FunPlus Phoenix lose out on 2 kills. Now they lose their mid-tier 1, and they're going to continue to accentuate some of these goal leads that we're seeing. As take a look at this replay, Sheer is literally still bottom lane, guys. He is nowhere near this fight. We needed to wait at least 10 seconds. Maybe that would have been a good play if everybody from FPX were in the area.
Yeah, he also took the long way around, ends up going for the public too, but you see Chris immediately tags him to get all 4 shots as JackeyLove turns his attention. And we talked about CC chains being the death of Mbessa. We're getting that to a T here to a top esports. And now a 6-1 in Kanavi leading here on this team, but now it's a little bit of JackeyLove and Chris show. But I'm looking at Kanavi as that general we knew him to be on JDG all those years.
And it's been such a tough road for him, especially when we talk about like the end of last year for JDG. That roster just really couldn't get it over the hump, even with swapping in Sheer and Flandra. So there were some questions as to the legacy of Kanavi. And then even coming into TES, we saw them in Demacia Cup. They weren't able to win up against anyone's legend. Here now, you know, they ended up winning in Split 1, but there's been a lot of question marks towards Kanavi, and he is having one of those carry performances that fill us with hope when we see this team domestically. So I need to see TES close out the rest of this game very cleanly. We've already seen them be pretty dominant so far. They're 20 minutes in and still have a 6,000 gold lead, but it has been fluctuating. The gold graph in this game is going to be very wild.
It is going to be wild. But, hey, when you B1 Vi, you have to come up clutch with it, and he's done so. Now we do have about 2 items for everybody but Creme. We'll see if he can eventually get to that point. But he's being chased right now by FPX. There is some movement from top esports to try to stop anything that could happen. Atacon is still up this way. A little bit of vision will do FPX some good.
Got an Otacon towards this top side, and like you were just mentioning, the vision can help, but look at who is splitting on the side lane. I mean, who is going to ever be able to deal with Renekton? 2.5, almost 1,000 gold over your lane opponent. He's just been taking camps as well, so Shadow's already dealing with the fact that he's losing camps because he has no turrets, but Sheer is, or 369 has just been doing such a good job of getting gold into him that he is going to be one very difficult crocodile to deal with.
He is indeed. Gonna need Crocodile Dundee or something. This Mortal Reminder. Okay, Care might. He's gonna flash. Mortal Reminder text, second item for Awesome. I'm curious.
Yeah. I mean, I get the premise, right? You're playing into a Renekton that has Black Cleaver, or sorry, has the Blade of the Ruined King. Kanavi, maybe just like as a trauma of like that fight where we saw Kanavi get the triple kill, and he's like literally living with 100 HP. There is a Sundered Sky.
Changed.
Yeah, like there's Sundered Sky in the game. There is like these Conqueror and like the Triumph. So I get the reasoning, but I just feel like you already do no damage. You have this Bloodthirster that's supposed to help you with your survivability. Maybe like an Infinity Edge or maybe something like that. The third item will be very strong, but as is right now, I am not feeling this Lord Dominic's right now, or this Mortal Reminder.
This is the mosquito version of Misfortune, just like Jin has that.
No. This at least still does damage. Misfortune has way too much damage in her kit for that to be allowed. Jin, that mosquito build is just, I don't miss old Stormrazor. Stormrazor plus RFC,
But when Stormrazor initially came out, it was so OP on him. Like, it was so good.
Yeah, that's true. And then they nerfed it. Because, you know, any carry players, we're only allowed to have fun for like a couple patches.
Jin. They took away Gale Force because of Jin. They took, hey, I won't take that slander, all right? My mouse pad just moved a little bit because it's got Jin on it.
Don't worry.
It heard you talking smack.
You already did that thing with the TFT. We'll see what happens to your mic in a few minutes.
We'll see what happens, baby.
I'll just reach over. Hit some keys on the prod keyboard.
It's OP. It's OP.
I will control the propaganda.
Kai, our producer, you have to save me. You have to save me. You have to.
He did give me a glance when I said some bad things about Jin. So
nice.
I get it, so
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, we're seeing TES take full
I got
control
somebody
on
in
top
the
side.
room.
Yeah, exactly. You got someone in your court, FPX are trying to go for a pretty fancy play, but so much vision is an advantage. And even if there weren't wards here, JackeyLove with the arrow can just very easily find anybody.
Ooh, that's got him duck. It's huge. Then they get the re-engage there from top esports on the other side, though. TP's coming in late from top, and they're losing. Oh my God, he explodes, and Kanavi explodes another one. You think it has explosive fists here. Another one down for the count, and FPX are losing members. This is about to be a full-on clean ace and a triple kill for Mr. Kanavi.
Wow, we get a repeat of the kill scores, a triple for Kanavi, a double kill for Creme, and hell, let's just throw in a turret on top here. It's a long timer before some relevant members. Are TES going to go for the win at 25 minutes?
They might indeed. It might even be a little bit shorter than that. They got 6 grubs. They have massive. Look at all those little mites. Go, mites, go. Top esports
go, Twitch chat.
Contest. They're looking to go undefeated here in Group C. And their first victim of the day will be FPX. A dominant top esports welcomes this challenge.
In order for the Phoenix to rise, it must fall, and right now, it is looking so good for TES. Some hiccups along the way, no doubt, but this is exactly the kind of top esports we needed to see coming into tonight, and what we will need to see as we finish out our few placement games that we have for the rest of the day. TES taking a resounding victory up against FPX.
Crisp against his old org. It's been many years now, and I'm sure those connections aren't out there, but still nonetheless a story that we love to see. But also this team restoring some version of confidence back to the league itself when they come in and still show that domination, still show what made them good here. And I wanted to see some more shoring of the mast for Mr. Kanavi. He shut me up big time. That guy went B1 Vi and absolutely ran this game.
Can I give you a caveat that he played his most popular champion this year?
He did.
So, you know, we're not getting like random Kanavi Nidalee game. Or like
I missed
Kanavi Shyvana game, even though they won that game. But that wasn't really that was a bin Cassante bug moment, okay? But
yeah, you bring it
that was a bug.
Right.
Okay, we got a bug fix this patch. Very happy about that. But that's good to see from TES. And like I was just saying, we need to see more of this TES. The one that is so dominant, the one that is looking to outplay and really control. I loved what we got from the early game. Again, part of their draft, when you have this Ashe Braum, you could just screen away the bot lane from being able to walk in. They took early trades versus Awesome and Jwei, and then we saw mid lane fights, really Kanavi getting stuff done with this Vi. This is exactly the kind of TES that we were expecting coming into the year, and hopefully what we get for all of Split 2 going forward.
I still very much welcome their addition to the Ascend group, and very excited to see how they stack up against other competition in best ofs themselves. Best of ones, I think you can be pretty dominant in, especially like a team like Top Esports,
for sure,
who have some kind of tried and true strategies. I think Creme deserves a little bit of an extra shout out. I think like JackeyLove obviously looked really good. Kanavi looked really damn good. 369 was a menace as well, but Creme had some really nice moments to kind of connect the team together, which I think is an important job on a team like this.
Yeah, Creme had a pretty big job of, hey, like I'm probably going to be getting a lot of attention in mid lane as this Aurora. Did falter a few times, but really kind of held his own on this champion. Again, this felt like a draft that we got a lot of the favorites, especially for our mid and jungle duo here of TES. And it's going to be games like this that really add a lot of flair. I think it's another feather in Creme's hat when we talk about what his champion pool is going to be. A long time it was him just being able to play those AD, you know, or the melee mids like the Sylas and Akali and adding the Yone, but his mage play has always been a big question, so I want to see him still dive into more of these and see what exactly works for him.
Yeah, I think that would be nice to see a little bit of a flexing of that, and just kind of see what options there are specifically. I will say there were some nice fights coming out from FPX, and a lot of that came from Care. I think Care on the Sylas knew where to be in a lot of situations, and I think he was the kind of brightest moment on FPX, or brightest player at least for this game, even though there maybe weren't as many bright spots.
I feel like Care has always been, to me, like, not only as the franchise player for FPX, but has like these performances where like, damn, you kind of want to believe in him. Like, you have like the Ari games from him that we got to see last split and even last year. You're thinking of games just like this Silas where he can actually get things done, but then you're reminded of other games and his the rest of his resume, and it just hurts, man. Because like, if you can just nail down the consistency, I feel like Care could have been and should have been one of our up and coming mid laners here in the LPL.
Absolutely, but FPX have struggled as a whole, and ever since those bright moments with Milky Way, it's been a little bit different now. As we take a look back at some of these clutch fights in the end, I particularly want to see that last fight afterwards, because I still think like the execution on that, I guess right here, it was really nice, especially after all of these tools were utilized on the Creme.
I mean, perfect stuns right there, like the Vi ult going onto both Silas and the Aurora, but also blocking the Sejuani ult. I was a little questionable about this fight just because JackeyLove is like, guys, I literally can't hit anybody that you guys are hitting right now. But like, I guess it's fine because you guys are winning. A bit questionable, but like you were saying, we got to see some of those mechanics, and it's tough when we look at it from the angle of FPX. This loss does keep OMG within contention of being able to fight for a third place spot. So, you know, the battle for the wooden spoon, as you said, still alive. But keeping in pace for TES to potentially top this group in first place.
Yeah. Would be cool to see another undefeated run from another team. Kanavi, of course, the general, comes out clutch on the Vi. First pick, by the way, 93% KP and a 9-1-5 finish on the champ.
That's, I mean, just perfect. These are the games that, like we were saying, build confidence, and these were the champions that we got to see him very early on into the year adopt very quickly and say like, hey, I'm new to the team. This is what we're going to be doing. I'm going to lead from the front, and he has been a jungler that domestically has been so dominant. It feels like he sometimes has a chokehold on the game, and champions like this just allow him to kind of exercise his fluidity around the map.
Well, that is our second game of the day. Now, next up is the game that everybody's been waiting for. It's Top Esports versus NIP.